was matched by a try by Samisoni Lange after he'd come back on from his injury break off the pitch. He scored an excellent try. It was a pick of, I think, a good bunch of tries from Catalans, actually. It was very similar to Makinson's, but on the opposite side of the pitch. Another short side break. It was Drinkwater who was involved for Catalans on this one. Bit of passing inside then out, and then eventually the ball went to Lange to stroll in and score a pretty easy finish for him, but good support play, making Sinan Lange on those tries. A word for Mitchell Pearce's pass as well. He threw an incredible long cut-out pass to the wing in the lead up to Dean Farhay's try, the try that ultimately was, I guess, the winner. Really good long cut-out ball and smart play by Artur Romano to get the pass back inside from that for Farhay to score, but it still didn't ease the angle enough for Tompkins to kick the goal and give any real breathing space. But talking about Romano, that brings me to the moment of this match, which I'm surprised hasn't been mentioned in any of the fan reviews, because it was absolutely brilliant tackle by Romano on dead towards Regan Grace, about 4 minutes out from time, I think it was. So Grace looked like he'd got around the outside. Romano had a bit of ground to make up to Grace. Grace put in a dive. Romano tackled him into touch so that Grace, holding the ball, hit the corner post. So because the ball hit the corner post, the post is in play. So Grace couldn't get the ball down. Really good tackle on the diving winger, just forcing him into touch and just winning the game. Really, it was because it was close. It was close right down to the end, and that was a match-winning moment by Artur Romano, who had to come off the bench to deliver that as well. I think, really good play.
He's a good player, isn't he?
They've got some good young French players, haven't they? And he's another one. Actually, there's a couple of other ones who've been on loan at Championship club Whitehaven, but because of the suspensions that they've picked up, Catalans have recalled Corentin Lecam and Cesar Rouge from their loan deals at Whitehaven, so they'll be back in the, I guess, 21-man squad for the Catalans this weekend. Actually, so mentioning good young French talent there. I haven't got any other notes on that game, but well done to Catalans winning a close one at home. We talked about the band. Academy product back rower Sam Royal. I think he was the captain of the academy, weren't he? Maybe at Saints as well. I think he's captain England academy as well along the way. But he signed a 1-year contract extension at Saints, so they keep the 21-year-old around for another year to watch his development. Someone they're not keeping is Wales winger Regan Grace. He will leave at the end of 2022 to switch codes with French top 14 side Racing 92. So he's off to Paris.
Very nice.
It's been rumoured for a while that he was going to go to rugby union. I think everyone expected it would be to a Welsh rugby union side with the lure of playing on the international stage there. Yeah. This might delay his international eligibility, because I think they have some weird rules about players playing abroad need to have played enough certain amount of games before they go abroad. I don't know. I don't really know, to be honest. Someone might correct me. But it means that he's gone.
Yeah.
He'll never fully fulfill his potential in rugby league. It's a disappointment.
Yeah.
And other winger news, but for the other side, Catalan Dragons have confirmed the signing of Wakefield winger Tom Johnston for next season. The 26-year-old has agreed a 2-year contract at the Stade Gilbert Brutus. We've known about this for some time. It's even less of a secret than the Jake Truman one, wasn't it? But been confirmed today. We've probably talked about it 6 or 7 times this year.
Probably, yeah. I mean, yeah, I think it's more of a risk for Catalans than it is for Johnston.
Yeah.
Given his injuries, and also, I'm surprised that they've gone for him, really, given, that he's an injury-prone winger.
Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting mix next year. Tom Davies will be coming back off another long injury layoff next year as well, and they've still got Fuad Yahar, who they've just recently re-signed as well. So it's going to be good competition for places at Catalans, which the squad depth was shown pretty strongly in this match. It's going to be tested again at Magic Weekend. But when you've got 3 international level players vying for 2 positions, that might help mitigate some of the injury worry, I suppose.
Yeah.
Shall we move on to a game that might have at least raised a little bit of a smile for you as you went to bed on Saturday? Toulouse versus Hull KR. It was 8-0 to the French side at half-time. It finished 28 points to 6 in a convincing Toulouse Olympique win. 3,441 was a disappointing crowd, but hopefully this win will get more people in next time around. Marcus Griffiths was the referee. Incomplete team stats because the Super League website still doesn't have Lambert Balmas for Toulouse. So what about the people it did have, Sarah?
Yeah, so for Toulouse it had Daniel Alvera with 139 metres, Latrell Shankle with 1 try, 136 metres, Ollie Ashall-Bolt with 1 try, 8 tackle plus 114 metres and 2 clean breaks, Chris Hankinson with 1 try and 112 metres. For the losing Rovers team, it's Sean Kenny-Dowell with 132 metres.
And the only fan view we got on this one was always in our shadow saying, even this result failed to bring a smile to my face this week.
Yeah, I think I feel similarly, although it has made me not quite dread Magic as much as at 5 o'clock on Saturday I was.
Yeah, Hull KR clearly another team that will talk about injuries. They were missing Coote, Hall, King. They lost Matty Staunton really early in the game as well. He's got a broken finger, I think, so he might be out for a few weeks. Nothing kind of confirmed on the length of that injury yet, but so that is a mitigation for them. Plus, very hot conditions, similar to the other game, but both teams had to play in it. I think it's a humbling defeat. I've noted for Hull KR because it seemed comfortable for Toulouse with the pattern of the game, the way the game panned out, even when you watch the highlights and see how it happened, how everything happened. Comfortable.
Yeah.
In fact, by the end, maybe even a little easy, because if you watch the Ollie Ashall-Bot try, that was easy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there have been questions asked about Rovers in the last couple of weeks defensively. Against Huddersfield, you can kind of say, well, they offer something a bit more.
Yeah, they're a top side, aren't they?
Yeah, although having said that, the players that were beating Rovers weren't necessarily your speedsters, but for Toulouse to run through them with such ease, you do really question what's going on.
Yeah, if you've not watched it yet, have a look at Gigo's kick for the first try, the Schaumkel try. Ridiculously good, narrow-angled, wide kick out to the wing. Classic Gigo, really. But I think Hankinson's try was the pick, and that fits what you've just talked about. A long-range try scored by not the fastest outside back on the pitch, but it was some really nice passes and offloads to get the ball to Hankinson. I'm surprised there was nothing for the late hit, actually, that Dagger put on. I think it was Corey Norman, but I'm not sure. But whoever put the final pass through to Hankinson, nasty-looking late shoulder charge. I don't think there was any head contact. Maybe that was why there was no problem with it, actually. But yeah, it was a late tackle, I thought. But anyway, good try. Really good try. Pick of the bunch, that one, for Toulouse. Well done to Toulouse. It's the start of a massive month for Toulouse. We've got a big... Obviously, we're not going to not talk about Tony Smith, but let's talk a little bit about Toulouse, Sarah, because they've got this game that they've just won, a winnable home match. They've got Wakefield at Magic Weekend first up next weekend. That's the bottom 2. Winnable match. If they win that, they're just 2 points behind Wakefield in the chase to avoid relegation. So EFC's extremely confident verdict last week that they were dead and buried might need to get revisited, EFC. So keep us updated on your feelings of that after Magic. But then they've got 3 more winnable home games for the rest of the month. They've got Leeds, they've got Salford. Yeah, Salford are scoring a lot of points at the moment, so it's not an easy game, but it's winnable. Leeds just challenged you guys, but it's winnable. And they've got you guys, haven't they, as well, at the end of the month? And you guys are not in any great shape at the moment. We've talked about your suspensions and injuries. And
everyone will be back for then, though.
Yeah, true. The suspensions will be back. Yeah.
But we'll have another 6 players out injured.
Yeah, exactly. And who knows what sort of balance we'll get after the derby. But yeah, but the point is, like, they're winnable games, aren't they? Actually, look at it right now. They could, they've won. We said last week, 1 out. If they win, sort of 2 out of the next 3, it's going to be big. I think they can possibly win 3 out of 5 in July. That would really put them back in the running for not going down.
Yeah. It's not. It feels far more doable now than it did. Well, even a week ago, but certainly like 3 weeks ago or so.
Yeah, and the mid-season imports. I know they got Ashwell Bott early in the season, but he was a late addition to the squad for this year. He's every week on the stats roundup, every single week. Daniel Alvaro is making contributions for them, and Corey Norman, by the reports I've read, was really top performer in this match. So he's finding his straps now as well. So the recruitment they've done is starting to pay some dividends. They've still got too thin a squad. They still can't afford any real injuries or anything. But it's interesting at least, whereas it might not have felt it 2 weeks ago. Tony Smith, do you want to tell us what's been going on?
Yes. So Tony Smith has been stood down as head coach of Hull KR, with Danny Maguire taking interim charge before Willie Peters' scheduled arrival in 2023. The 55-year-old was already set to depart at the end of the campaign, having made the decision mid-season. However, the former Great Britain, Leeds and Warrington boss has left after 7 defeats in 8 games.
Yeah, and Tom Andrews said, shame it ended like this. Best feel about the club since the 2010 season. Could have gone off into the sunset at the end of the season, but had to behave like a petulant child, which has ultimately killed our season. Should have gone the minute he announced he was leaving. 1 win in 8. Barely any tries scored in that time. Any coach would feel the pressure, even ignoring the leaving thing. Thanks for the memories.
Wow.
Yeah, it's nosedived, hasn't it? I don't know if the announcement's the cause of it or just an after effect of it, with other factors, maybe with injuries, suspensions, whatever, I don't know, and just a general loss of form. But when he announced it, we did a poll, and 37% of people responded to that thinking he would last to the end of the season. If I'd have been more sort of conscious, I wasn't unconscious, but if I'd been on it at the time when the result came in, rather than living other parts of my life that aren't rugby league, then I probably would have done another poll to get another sense of it, sort of heat check on it over the weekend. But we haven't needed to now because this has been confirmed and announced. And you have to say, after that performance, the bottom club beating you so comfortably, it had to be the end of the line, didn't it? Because now they're starting to see resurgent Cass, high scoring Salford, strong performance out of Leeds. They're slipping down in the prospects of making the top 6. So they had to do some sort of change.
Yeah, I mean, I think going back to when you were saying about, was it the press conference or whatever, I think for me, the press conference was definitely the turning point in the season. But that was the turning point to us on the outside. I wonder whether whatever preceded the press conference on the inside, whether that was actually the turning point. Because, an announcement that you're leaving at the end of the season, and along with everything else he said at that press conference, and the fact that the club and the players and everyone else didn't know it was coming, that isn't normal. That isn't how things happen. People slit us for Pearson effectively sacking Radford on Sky, but by all accounts, a very brief conversation had at least happened, and if you're leaving, if you're handing in your notice, surely there's ways of going about it that aren't announcing it at a press conference. So he was clearly hurt by stuff that was going on, and the fact that he wasn't being allowed to coach